Welcome and good evening. Please rise to recognize the faculty and graduating students of the University of Washington Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering, classes of 2020, 2021, and 2022.
welcome to the 2022 CE graduation ceremony. I am thrilled to finally be at an in-person graduation ceremony, and this, along with everybody else, in this much larger than normal venue with a much larger than normal graduating class. Specifically, we have the 2020, the 2021, and the 2022 graduates of civil engineering with degrees in Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering, Bachelor of Science in Environmental Engineering, Master of Science in Civil Engineering, Master of Science in Construction Engineering, Master of Sustainable Transportation, Master of Supply Chain Transportation and Logistics, that was logistically challenging, and one last, Doctor of Philosophy. As we get started, I'd like to take a few minutes to acknowledge the contributions of some of the people that have helped our graduates get here today. Behind me are members of the Civil and Environmental Engineering faculty. They are internationally recognized researchers, gifted teachers, and tremendous mentors. With that, faculty, you may be seated. Located around the auditorium are also advising and other CE staff who have contributed to your success, some of them directly, advisors, and some of the administrative staff, but other people that you don't necessarily see who are behind the scenes helping them. So a round of applause for our CE staff. Finally, any higher degree is incredibly challenging, and I'm sure that none of you graduates would be here today without the support of your family, friends, who are all around you. So a big round of applause for family and friends that helped all of us through. And with that, I would suggest that everybody be seated. In June 2020, a student-led group sent me a letter signed by more than 350 students, alumni, faculty, staff, and UW organizations asking me to take immediate action to improve equity, diversity, and inclusion within the department. Their request was absolutely right, or spot on, as one of my advisors and mentors would say. Immediate and substantial action was needed, and I set about engaging, empowering, and funding faculty, staff, and students to accomplish this needed change. In the last 2 years, we've done much, including adding Justice, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion, JEDI, which you'll hear a few times tonight, content to many classes, providing multiple JEDI training activities for faculty and staff and students, expanding efforts to increase the diversity of our community, and expanding efforts to build stronger and more inclusive CE community. Though there's no doubt that COVID has made the community building part a little challenging. As part of this effort, we've also added a pause at the beginning of all of our department events for a land and a slavery acknowledgement. As I read these acknowledgements today, I would encourage you to think about the ideas embedded in these statements and what they mean to you and how they might affect your life and the lives of others. Our land acknowledgement. The University of Washington acknowledges the Coast Salish peoples of this land, the land that touches the shared waters of all tribes and bands within the Squamish, Tulalip, and Muckleshoot nations. Our slavery acknowledgement. Racial oppression is deeply rooted in our nation's history, from the mass exploitation and mistreatment of Native American populations to enslavement of Black Americans. We acknowledge this past and its essential step forward in accepting and creating a more just, equitable, diverse, and inclusive environment. Recently, reflecting on my journey from UW CE, BSCE student, I think graduating in this venue, along with a whole bunch of other College of Engineering students, I was struck by how incredibly important community has been to me and to my own success. and my happiness. During these last several years, it's been difficult to maintain our communities. COVID has just had a huge impact. While most of us learned during 2020-21 academic year that it's possible to sit in front of a computer for 18 hours with breaks only to heat up food in the microwave and use the restroom, we also learned that is incredibly unhealthy, and it's really challenging to maintain those communities. Returning to in-person has helped, but it's still been affected by COVID, and people are in and out, and we're still in hybrid mode. With each passing week, it does seem like it's getting better, primarily because now almost everybody I know has had COVID. And there is hope for rebuilding and strengthening our community and the relationships that bind our community together and make CEE and our educational journey that much more fun, engaging, and quite frankly, easy. It's very hard to be successful without a support community. As we move forward with the coming years, and I'm hopeful that it'll be easier for us to maintain our community and that it becomes a more just, diverse, equitable, and inclusive community. As graduates of CE, you will be going out into the world and building new communities, and it will take some time to find and build those communities. I'd encourage you to acknowledge how important those communities are to success and really make the effort and work to find those communities, both so that they can support you and so that they provide a mechanism for you to support others. Most of you will be lucky enough to be able to continue to meet and work with the communities that you've built while you've been here. And at least for a while, it will be pretty easy for those connections to stay in place. So let's spend a minute and acknowledge some of the CEE communities, or maybe mini communities, that made being a CEE student great and helped you to accomplish all that you've accomplished to get here and are celebrating today. Why don't you stand up when I call out a community that you supported and whose members supported you? How about Engineers Without Borders? Anybody in Engineers Without Borders? You can stay standing. So I have a lot of these. Maybe we can hold applause until the end. How about the Concrete Canoe Team? Steel Bridge Team? That was a lot of people. American Public Works Association, American Water Resources Association, Society of Women Engineers, let's see, Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers, American Indian Science and Engineering Society, National Society of Black Engineers, Society of Asian Students and Engineers, Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers, GSAB, USAB, your GSIL project team? Who is a member of a GSIL project team? How about a capstone design team? Okay, that got almost everybody. How about the ever-important ASCE Student Lounge, Computer Student Office Block, Study Group, and Midnight Coffee Group? Oh, come on, there must be somebody in that one. And finally, almost all-encompassing, I'm hoping, the communities you built and joined through Slack, Discord, Teams. That's it? None of the master's and PhD students? Okay, a couple of PhD students. Thank you for working to build your communities, and I'm glad that you found communities to support you. Again, I would encourage you to continue the communities you've built here and build new ones as you go out in your new endeavors. You may all be seated. Each year we ask 2 students to share their thoughts as their UW CE degree program comes to an end. Our first student speaker is Jose Mariel. Jose, please join me on stage. Jose was nominated by fellow students who admire the time he dedicates to his studies, his academic success, and that he is always willing to help and tutor his peers. Today, Jose is graduating with a BSCE degree, and we're looking forward to him returning to CE this fall to begin his MSCE degree program with an emphasis in structural engineering. Excellent choice on the structural engineering.
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the class of 2022, I want to give a big thanks to everyone that came out here tonight, friends, family, and anyone else that is important to us. I want to thank the class of 2020 and 2021 for also being here tonight, celebrating the hard work they accomplished. They also deserve this moment of celebration with us, as that wasn't the case the past 2 years due to the coronavirus pandemic. This is an important moment for us right now, as we are here to celebrate all the hard work we put in these past few years to be who we are now. I also want to thank the civil engineering staff for hosting this great ceremony and for all the hard work they did to make this happen. Well, we finally did it. We finally ran the racetrack and reached the finish line. A track full of bumps in the roads. In the beginning, starting off as brand new freshmen, we were all anxious, scared, and lost as to how our college years were going to be like. Many of us had no idea what to expect. Some of us knew what we wanted, some of us didn't. Some of us changed our majors multiple times. I was for sure one of them. But what threw us for a loop was how different college is from high school. You know, I remember thinking how college was just show up to lectures, spend an hour or two doing homework, and call it a day. It's not like that at all, though. It took failure to determine that wasn't the case. The failed exams, the class retakes, the tough homeworks, it all changed our mindsets and our work habits. All the efforts we've made those first 2 years were all worth it, though, as it landed us to our desired major and department, civil and environmental engineering. Those first few years were nerve-wracking, as we wondered if we would get into our major of choice. We had thoughts racing in our minds, figuring out an alternative plans if we didn't get in. Fortunately, though, those alternative plans weren't needed, as here we are now. We're civil and environmental engineers. 2020 came by. We're all wrapping up a successful winter quarter and getting ourselves ready for a spring quarter. And then the coronavirus struck. When it began spreading worldwide, we knew it could get bad. We prayed the outbreak would go away and not get any worse, but unfortunately, that did not happen. When UW announced a temporary switch to remote learning, it brought us down a bit. At first, it was going to be for a few weeks, then it became a few months, and then it became a whole year with a couple months. Those times weren't the best, and it was a bummer that all of our first year as civil engineering students had to be fully remote. I won't lie though, the quality of lectures was great. We learned as much material online as we would if it were in person. Big thanks to the professors for trying their best to make the classes as engaging as possible, and big thanks to everyone that was patient when issues arose. We did miss out on a lot though. We didn't do any labs, we didn't get to meet our professors face to face, and possibly the most disappointing was that we didn't get to meet all of each other in person. But despite these events, we still found ways to get the most out of it. We didn't let the pandemic stress us out more. We still took matters seriously and put in the same effort on our work, despite the new work environment. Adapting to a new environment is hard, but when everyone else is doing it together, it makes it easier for all of us to do. Now, many of my classmates probably know me as the guy who always had the camera turned on through Zoom. Some may not even know me at all. It's all right, though, because we all managed to find ways to communicate with one another. We found ways to form groups of friends to socialize with. Being remote didn't make us completely isolated. We saw each other as one big team. Staying in contact with our classmates and helping out when needed was important for us. Some of the people we talk to now will be our lifelong friends. Senior year finally came by. We're all excited for it, as it was going to be back in person. We finally got to be in big classrooms, meet our professors face to face, and meet our friends face to face, and meet new people. At first, everyone was unrecognizable. For one, the mask we wore covered up part of our identities, but also because we all look a lot different in person than we do on camera. You know, I remember walking to one of my professor's office from last year, and I asked, "Can I speak to Professor Berman?" And he says, "Yes, that is me." It took a while to know who everyone was and how everyone looked, but our communication was no different. We still worked with each other well, and we still met new people. We did what we could to make up for what we missed the previous year and make our last year one of the best years of our time at UW. And indeed it was. All the hard work we put in these past few years are finally paying off. And here we are now, celebrating all the hard work we have done. We're slowly approaching the finish line. For some of us, the finish line will be reached the moment we throw our caps in the air. For others, the finish line is right around the corner until we turn in the last assignment this upcoming week. No matter what, though, the finish line doesn't mark the end of our journeys. It marks the end of a long and successful lap. a lab with obstacles that we managed to get through together. We didn't compete against each other. We were a big team, helping each other out in every possible way. We're going to finish this lab, and we will enter our own tracks, filled with our own milestones and finishing lines. We each have plans that we want to accomplish, moves that we want to do now or sometime in the future. If you don't know what your future looks like now, it's all right. Someday, you will. Everyone needs a break at some point. Never give up on your goals, even if they seem far away or difficult to achieve. Keep working and moving forward until you reach them. We will all make it. If you feel like you're about to burn out, go to the side of the road and take a break. Once you're ready, hop back on the road and race towards your next finish line. Finish line after finish line, we'll always be on the road making accomplishments. Now, before I go, I just want to say a few last things. I want to thank God for giving me the strength to move on every day and make every day seem like a new objective. I want to thank my parents who were always understanding of everything and supporting me in every possible way to see me standing here right now. I want to thank my grandparents who unfortunately are not here right now but are watching from above for giving me the motivation to keep trying hard in life. I want to thank the professors for providing such great and exciting lectures and for trying their best to adapt to the remote system. I want to thank the civil engineering advisors for working with us to help us succeed and reach our goals. I want to thank UW in general for providing us the best education out there. Lastly, I want to give a major shout out to Andrew, Matthew, Country Cameron, City Cameron, Stuart, Mo, Abby, Andrea, Amber, and Thomas. You all made these past 2 years the best. Now come on everyone, let's go show the world that we are ready to tackle construction and structural and geotechnical and hydrological, environmental, and transportation problems. Let's go show the world that we are ready to work as a team. Let's go show them who we are. Congratulations, class of 2020, 2021, and 2022. I wish you all the best in all your upcoming journeys.
Thank you very much, Jose. That was wonderful. Our second student speaker is Barira Mirza. Could you join us on stage, please? Barira is graduating today with an MSCE degree with an emphasis in hydraulics and hydrodynamics. During her time as an MSCE student, she participated in online classes while at home with a 12-hour time difference. Congratulations for that incredible accomplishment. She also took classes online while in Seattle, and then hybrid, and then probably back online, and then probably in person, and then probably hybrid. She's been an active member of the CE Graduate Student Council, which has been very effective in helping us to move forward, especially with our JEDI goals, and has participated in ASE activities as well. Next year, she will be starting her PhD at Oregon State University, so congratulations also for that. And I will cede the mic to you.
Thank you so much, Laura, for the introduction, and great speech, Jose. So, hello, good evening, assalamu alaikum, and adab. These are not just greetings, but they define me. Yes, I am Barira Mirza, a Muslim Pakistani woman studying on Fulbright scholarship in the United States of America, and speak Urdu. And I speak Urdu as my first language. I think it's about time to clarify that I'm Barira from Pakistan, not Barrera from Pakistan. And I think if all of you can say Worcestershire sauce, we can definitely try saying Pakistan. But today, when I stand here proud and elated, I do not only represent my country, but I represent every individual who started their grad school during COVID times, especially with time zone difference. Now let's go back to 30th September 2020, when we woke up just 5 minutes before our lecture, not so according to the plan, and started taking our first lecture half asleep. Contrary to that, I used to start my day when people over here call it a night. Yes, I remember taking classes at midnight. I was really sure that maybe I will learn golden rule of remote sensing or not. But one thing I will surely learn, that how to experience a life of an owl. But I would here appreciate all my professors and my faculty members that, who participated equally to experience that life. And that is how most of our autumn quarter passed. Now let's move on to our winter quarter, where most of us, including me, moved to Seattle, thinking that maybe not inside, but maybe outside the class, we can meet and mix with people. But as we know, in Seattle, we plan and then rain plans. And that is what exactly happened with most of us. But I was really confident. I was like, I come from coastal area and I love rain, so I can handle it. Assuming that one day, one rainy day, I went out without any rain gear because I did not know it was a thing until my friend told me. And after 3 hours, I came back home all soaked up and called my mom and said, I have lived my American dream and I am ready to be back. Well, thanks to my family and my friends who motivated me to get rain gear and get this degree. Well, that is how mostly winter quarter passed. If any of you in the crowd thinking that she is summing up quarters really quickly, or really fastly, I would say that is how quarter system works in University of Washington. You sleep and you wake up in another quarter. So talking about our spring quarter. So I do not have a lot of memories from spring quarter, but just beautiful cherry blossom garden and me sleeping during Zoom meetings because it was month of Ramadan where we eat at 3 a.m. and then 8 p.m. Unless I wake up in the breakout room and realize that, okay, I think it's my time to contribute. Well, regardless of Ramadan, I hope some of you can relate sleeping during the Zoom meetings. And if not, and if any of you is judging me, so let me tell you that despite maintaining my sleep cycle, I ended up getting into 3 PhD schools, one being University of Cambridge. So people, do not take inspiration, but definitely keep on making your Husky Pack proud. Well, moving on to our most exciting quarter, our autumn quarter, where we went back to in-person. We had our first CE social mixer. I never knew that I would be so fascinated to see that how tall is everyone. I never knew that someone's physical appearance can make me so excited. But there were some more people who were excited to an extent that they end up making a IMA sports teams. And imagine people like me who rarely played any sports ended up signing for American football. And to be very honest, I was hardly running. And most of the times I was thinking that who plays football with hand? I mean, it is called football for a reason. And my entire life had been a lie. The thing I used to think is a football is European soccer league for them. But well, I enjoyed most of it. But that day I got to know that, okay, that's actually my American dream. So I signed up for more sports, and when I stand here, I represent each of our IMA sports team, be it high flyers, hydro kickers, hydro ballers, hydro homies, and as we call it, Dachma ball. Super proud of you all. It was really, really fun. Now, life started moving on, and we came to our next quarter. But unfortunately, this time, partially, or I think fully virtual. Most of us got COVID, and even some of us lost our loved ones. But we kept on fighting, and we made our returns possible back to campus in the middle of the quarter. But on the positive side, we did not only get the COVID back, most of us got the emails, our long-awaited emails. Yes, some of us got into good grad schools, or some of us got a good job. Some people got engaged and married, and some people ended up in a very fancy summer schools. We all stepped forward, and time started moving fastly. If any of you in the crowd thinking that what she's talking about, I still do not know what to do with this degree. So let me tell you one thing, what my mom has always told me, and tricked me into science, that this is not the end. This is just a beginning. Life has just started, and there's a lot more to come. So just cherish every moment and be yourself. Before I end my speech, I would like to thank a few people. I'll start with my faculty members, staff, our TAs, and GSEP, Graduate Student Advisory Board. These people are really unsung heroes. They made a huge contribution for us. I would also like to thank my long distance and my friends over here who supported me and guided me when I was lost. They let me tell them what real biryani tastes like. And they also told me that I can be data scientist and snow hydrologist at the same time. It was all discovery for me. I should not forget thanking my Fulbright Commission, who funded this degree and made it possible for me to fulfill my mom's and my dreams to get a degree abroad. I would also like to thank all the parents, especially single parents, who struggled for their kids and made it possible. I would not have done it without my siblings, cousins, and all my close ones. We all did it together. In the end, I would not leave you with a motivational quotation to do more. Even at this point, I will ask you to do less, because you have done enough. Yes, all of you completed your undergrad and grad degrees during unusual COVID times. So this is your time to enjoy and let opportunities come your way, because we all did it. Congratulations, class of 2020, 2021, 2020, 2022. Elena and Zena, my two little niece, your auntie did it. Thank you, Shaba Khair, and go Huskies.
I think I mostly appreciated the idea of this is absolutely just the beginning, and you can go on and do so many amazing things. At this time, I would like to call Mika Emoto and Jana Bongato up on stage, please. A number of years ago, one of our faculty members, Neil Hawkins, and his wife endowed a prize for two of our graduating undergraduate graduating seniors. The Hawkins Prize winners are chosen by the CE faculty based on their academic performance, their communication abilities, and their leadership. The Hawkins thought that recognizing the leadership and communication abilities was hugely important, not just academics. Our runner-up Hawkins Prize goes to Jana Bongato this year. I'm going to read some of the statements from the nomination. Jana is a fantastic student who has overcome the worst circumstances to excel academically and give back to her family and her community. She's maintained a stellar academic record within the CEE community while managing personal challenges, serving as a STARS peer mentor, participating in the UW Women's Rugby Club, captaining a slow-pitch intramural softball team, working with the U-Heights Safe Lot program, and during the summers teaching STEM classes to middle school and high school students from underserved populations. Jana represents a triumph of perseverance over circumstance, which we should all celebrate. Congratulations. Our first place Hawkins Prize goes to Mika Emoto. Mika, in the words of one faculty nominator, is simply awesome. An amazing blend of focus, intellect, compassion, leadership, and people skills. Faculty nominators go on to note that as a TA, she's devoted to improving student experience, including providing faculty instructors with suggestions on how they could make their classes just a little bit better. As a researcher, she's made significant contributions to state-of-the-art research efforts. As a mentor, she's helped junior student colleagues with advice on studying for the EIT and FE exams and on planning for classes to take during their senior year. She was also this year's CE nominee for the College of Engineering Dean's Medal. And I guess I would like to say that there were lots of amazing nominees, and we have a huge number of amazing graduates. I wish that we could individually recognize all of you, but we will as you walk up. And we will do a group round of applause now for our amazing graduates, just as a break in the middle. I know there'll be more of these. Graduation also provides an opportunity to recognize the contributions of faculty and staff who contribute much to the student experience, to student success, and to the success of the department. At this time, I would like to ask Brian Kinnear, Brett Maurer, Alex Horner-Devine, Steve Munch, Karen Heath, and Ted Hansen to come on stage. There are a lot of awards. So our first award is our Staff Award, which goes to our undergraduate advisor, Brian Kinnear, for his amazing contributions to the student experience. I should stand over here. For working tirelessly on behalf of student groups and for always being there to provide advice when needed. Thank you, Brian, for doing such an amazing job for our students. Once again. We seem to be a little light on our faculty. Our teaching award goes to Assistant Brett Maurer, who is not here. In all aspects of his teaching, he goes above and beyond, and I believe that the statement was from one student that he is the best professor I have ever had during my undergraduate degree at CE. Apologies to all the other best professors that... But as I know from looking at Brett's student evaluation scores this last year, he is pretty hard to beat. Our outstanding faculty mentor goes to Professor Alex Horner-Devine for his outstanding mentorship, support, and leadership. He empowers students to take ownership for their research and career goals, fosters student teaching assistant growth as teachers, and works to provide students in the H&H group with support and resources that they've needed to manage the loss of colleague Nirni Kumar during summer 2020 and the challenges associated with COVID. And I certainly agree that Alex is a phenomenal leader in that group. Well, round of applause for Alex's contribution. And now we have the most important awards, the Chairs Awards. So the first Chairs Award goes to Professor Steve Munch, who is an exceptional, you have to come over here so that I can speak and shake your hand. Thank you. Professor Munch has done a phenomenal job of leading the Undergraduate Education Committee as an associate chair for undergraduate education. Never has that committee worked as efficiently and effectively. It's almost as if it were, what, a nuclear sub? I think for all of the undergrads, almost all of the undergrads, maybe there's one who hasn't, who has come and had some interaction with Professor Munch, regardless of what you're studying. You've probably been on one of the many field trips that he's organized, been to one of the many lectures that he's organized. There's no way that you haven't been impacted by the work that he does. And for the faculty, we all greatly appreciate the work that you do to keep us on track with all the administrative sides of the undergraduate program, which is important. So thank you ever so much for all the work that you've done. Every one of you owe him. The next CE award goes to Karen Heath, who is the assistant to the chair and our academic HR specialist. She flawlessly manages a gazillion incredibly important tasks, including my calendar, but she has helped us to navigate the gazillion different requirements with respect to academic HR at the university and not complained, well, maybe once, but not many more, but always has a smile on her face and is always incredibly efficient and is always 2 steps ahead of all of us. So congratulations and thanks to Karen. The final Chairs Award goes to CE Department Administrator Ted Hansen, who has been my right-hand man for the last 5 years and is unfortunately leaving our department to go on to bigger and better things. But I think what I appreciate most has been his tireless devotion to making CE the best place to work and the most well-run department on campus. Thank you, Ted. And I would guess I would note again that while for the students you don't always run into Karen Heath and Ted Hansen, they do all the work behind the scenes that makes it possible for faculty and instructors and the staff that you do run into to do their jobs as efficiently and well as they possibly can. As I said earlier, in 2020, when I received the student petition asking for immediate action to improve diversity, equity, and inclusion in the department, we started doing many new things in the department. And one of the actions that we have taken to advance JEDI is to hold JEDI moments at our bi-monthly faculty meeting, along with a number of other activities as well. So at this time, I'm going to pass the mic to Professor Julian Marshall, who is our Associate Chair for Justice, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion, and co-chairs that committee. Okay. I'll pass this to you.
Thank you, everyone, and congratulations to the graduates and their families and friends who are here. As you heard earlier, in recent years, our department has taken to including what we call a JEDI moment in our faculty meetings. We wanted to share one with all of you here today. A JEDI moment is a time when we remind ourselves about justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion in our department and in our profession, and where we can rededicate ourselves to the work of making our communities better for everyone. Here's today's JEDI moment. Civil and environmental engineering can create or eliminate inequity in our society. For examples taken from research published by CEE faculty just this year, people of color breathe dirtier air and suffer resulting health impacts because of where they live and what has been built around them. In transportation engineering, research has identified that an Uber driver's likelihood to decline a rider for pickup is, unfortunately, influenced by the race of that pickup rider. And in other parts of the world, children, especially girls, spend many hours each day hauling water because there is no piped water. Eliminating time poverty through water infrastructure means that kids, especially girls, stay in school longer. So, as all of you graduate and go out to become practicing engineers, our charge to you is to work towards building equity in our society with every project you undertake. Look for and recognize injustices. Talk to your colleagues about them and seek solutions. This is the work of civil and environmental engineering. And next, I have the honor of presenting this year's CEE Awards for Justice, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion. And we have two of them. One is for a student winner, and our student winner is Miguel Gonzalez. Miguel, are you here? Okay, he could not be here. Let's have a round of applause for him. I will mention that he has shown real leadership as a member of the GSAB, the Graduate Student Advisory Board, and as a member of the department's JEDI committee. He was nominated by members of the committee in recognition of his strong contributions, including in recruiting participants to the CE JEDI town halls. You all may have received some bagels or coffee from him as part of that. And second and last, we have a faculty award. You want to step forward, Laura? This year's award goes to our department chair, Laura Lowe's. She was nominated by members of our CE committee who noted her leadership and strong support for all things JEDI in our department. Her many efforts in recent years, she has made, through her leadership, JEDI important in all aspects of what we do in teaching, research, and administration. She has made trainings available to us, which we greatly appreciate, since this topic is new to many of us and not what we were trained in initially. And also, really importantly, what people noted, one thing people noted is she has acknowledged her own lack of knowledge in this area and worked to address it. And that is tremendous leadership. So for many of these efforts, we thank you, Laura.
Thank you all for the award. It has been wonderful to work with everybody, faculty, staff, and students to begin our journey to a more just, equitable, diverse, and inclusive department. We're not there yet, but I am quite hopeful that one day we will be, and hopefully I will still be in the department to see it. Today and now, I have the pleasure of welcoming our keynote speaker this evening, UW CE alumnus Dr. Jeffrey Wright. I'd like to stand. Dr. Wright completed undergraduate degrees at the University of Washington a few years ago in social psychology and civil engineering, which is an interesting choice, as well as a master's degree in civil engineering with an emphasis on water resources. He then went on to earn a PhD at Johns Hopkins and joined the faculty at Purdue, where he rose to Associate Dean for Research in the Purdue College of Engineering, and also spent a number of years as director of the Indiana Water Resource Center. He then went on to a number of leadership roles within engineering across the country. He served as the Dean of Engineering at the founding Dean of Engineering at UC Merced, co-director of the UC Center for Computer and Information Technology Research, commonly known as CITRIS, and also as Dean of Science and Technology at Western Washington University. In considering speakers for today's event, I thought that Dr. Wright's breadth of leadership experience in academia provided him with a unique perspective on what is our CE community, who are our collaborators and partners, where might CE research and practice go in the future, and how can you, as new CE graduates, make the most of the myriad opportunities available to you. I will hand the mic to you.
Thanks, Laura. Laura, would you step up again for me, please? We had this wonderful dinner this evening, last evening, and I learned so much about what's going on with the department, and it's a fantastic advance in what's going on, and we had great discussion. But I learned that this is going to be Laura's last year as chair. I have never been with or seen an experienced chair who's done as much for her students than anyone else. And it's just incredible what she's been able to do.
Oh, thank you so much.
It's a great honor. Thank you very much. So now I'm going to just talk to the students for a little while. Parents can listen, but I want to talk to the students. You've just gotten diplomas from the very top engineering universities in the country. That's really something to be proud of, and I know you are proud of it. But I'm kind of wondering how you got here. I'm wondering how I got here, but I'm wondering how you got here. So I'd like all the graduates to think a little bit about your last year in high school. When you're coming around the first of the year and you're thinking, what am I going to do next? What kind of things are you thinking about? There are some of you that probably think, well, I think I'm just going to get a job and see if I can work for a while and maybe go to college. Or maybe I can say, maybe I'll get a community college and start out that way. And some would say, I think I want to go to four-year college and get a degree, and then we'll see what happens. And then there are some that I know of personally who would say, I'm going to graduate and I'm going to get an engineering degree from the University of Washington, and it's going to be in civil engineering, and I'm going to be a great engineer, which is kind of a little bit on the optimistic side. But what do you do? What have you all done? And to be where you are now is just extraordinary, because this has given you a foundation for things for the rest of your life. You'll get opportunities and you'll get choices that will be fantastic for you all. So what I want to do is kind of give you a little story of what happened to me, how I got here. All I wanted to do when I was playing in high school was to play football. And I thought, I want to play college football. And it was very obvious pretty soon that I wasn't strong enough or fast enough, and that wasn't going to work. So I decided I needed to go to college. And in our family, it's what you do. You finish high school and go on to college. And that's what we did. So I was thinking, well, my mom is a Husky and my dad is a Cougar. So Dad, you lose. I'm a Husky. And so is my brother, my twin brother. We both went into the University of Washington. And I had no idea what I was going to do. I was applying in liberal arts, and the first year I had sort of liberal arts freshman courses, and that was okay. I was a fair student. But I needed to get some money because I need to get some hourly wages so I can get some money for that next year. And so there was a faculty member in the School of Social Psychology who had just received a large grant, and he was looking for students that would give he was trying to find a group of students that would go out door to door and get surveys for populations in the city of Seattle about their attitudes towards the environment. And it was kind of a boring job, but we went around and did that for about 4 or 5 months. It turns out that a parallel set of students in Stockholm, Sweden was doing the same thing. And the reason for that was because in May of that year, they decided that that was going to be the first World Conference on the Human Environment. And I don't know many of you that know about that, but this was a big deal. This was a huge club of students and faculty and people all over the country that would convene in Stockholm, Sweden, and have this conference. Now I'm going to back up for a second. My dad, who was a mid-manager of a power utility in eastern Washington, was organizing a group that was going to purchase a large computer, the IBM 360, which at the time was a very large computer, and they put that into the company. And every Saturday for about 4 or 5 months, I got to tag along with my dad and work on the computer a little bit, learning about big volumes of punch cards and learn a little bit of Fortran and so forth. Well, it turns out that the project that I was talking about was headed up by a group of people who were working in the Roberts Hall basement stairway, who had the same computer. And so I got a little bit of chance to play with that computer a little bit. And what happened later was that the graduate student who was involved in this project to go to Stockholm, Sweden for 6 months for this conference, he got ill. And so I was able to go along and played a major part in that activity. And that conference was incredible. The conference was major people. William Ruckelshaus and Warren G. Magnuson headed it up. Margaret Mead and Paul Ehrlich and Barry Commoner and all these people were there, and it was just incredible. And that opened my eyes up to exactly what I wanted to study when I get back to the University of Washington, and that was environmental studies. So when I got back, I went into the student advising office, and I said, I want to become an environmental student. And the woman at that time said, I'm not sure exactly what that means, but maybe you should try forestry. And I didn't really know, okay, I'll go to forestry. So she gave me a little map of campus, and I walked down towards forestry, and I walked past Moore Hall. And I thought, Moore Hall was kind of interesting. I would have walked in the campus. It was about as old as it seems to be now, but I walked in there and I said, the bulletin board had information about environment. I said, well, maybe I should think about civil engineering. So I went into the secretary's office and I said, I want to talk to the chairman. Can I talk to the chairman about joining the school? And she said, well, I don't know that it's going to work because he's very busy, but I'll try. And that was Dale Carlson that came out of his office, and he walked into his office and spent about 20 minutes with me. Said, well, let's go see the faculty. Come see the faculty. And that was Brian Marr and Russ Chrisman and these fantastic people. And that's where I decided I wanted to do environmental studies. And that's where I was really, really pleased to be able to work with these people. And I got to do some TAing, and I got to do some class, teach some classes. And I wanted to figure out how could I become a professor? How can I become a professor of engineering in an environmental focus? And the faculty that I talked to said, well, you should really look to try to do that, and we'll help you. And they told me that there's a program at Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore, way across the country, that is something where you should really try to focus in that program. So at this point, I was making choices and making opportunities for myself to pursue what I really wanted to do. And so I spent 4 years at Johns Hopkins University. I became a professor at Purdue University shortly thereafter, and spent 20 years at Purdue University. Purdue's a really good engineering program, and I was really lucky to be able to do that. The last few years of my teaching at the School of Civil Engineering at Purdue was to move into the dean's office. And I was an associate dean for a while and got a chance to work on a number of different things. And one of those was the National Academy of Engineering to look at diversity issues. And so we had a meeting in Plano, Texas. If you've ever been to Plano, Texas, there's really not much to do there. But we had this exhaustive meeting of about 5 days, and it was incredible what resulted from this meeting. There were really two focuses to try to bring people together to see how we can increase the brain power of engineering and how we can bring women into those positions. And it's starting to advance, and that's wonderful to see. Well, the meeting in Plano, Texas, I was going to the airport. It was a rainy day, and I got a chance to sit with a man named Carl Piester, who happened to be the chair of civil engineering at Berkeley, and later on one of the chancellors at one of the campuses of Berkeley. And we talked for about an hour and let the rain move up, and he told me all about what's going on with this new 10th campus, a 10th campus of the University of California. And I didn't really understand that they were actually going to have a 10th campus, and why, and what kind of a campus is it. And he told me a little bit about that. And we spent about an hour there talking about various things. And I left and went back to Purdue. And about 4 months later, I got a call from him saying, would you like to apply for the deanship of this new campus. And boy, that was a tough choice to make, because I'd been at Purdue University for a long time and I was doing pretty well there and so forth. But here's a chance to build a brand new university that has the opportunity to have a campuses like University of California behind you on doing this. And so I talked to a lot of the faculty, several of the faculty here at Washington, several of the faculty back at Purdue and Hopkins, and I decided that I'm going to take a chance on this and see what happens. So about a month later, we were packing up. I applied for the position. I got the position. And so my wife and I were packing things up, and I got a call from Seattle because they were putting on a conference, and they wanted me to participate in the conference. And so I said, okay, I've got this. My last duty at Purdue was going to Seattle and seeing some of my friends and participating in some things. And the day before, the chancellor, who had been hired for this new 10th campus, said, we'd like you to stop over in San Francisco and to look at the building plans for the new buildings. And I said, okay, I'll fly into to San Francisco and catch a room and so forth. And I woke up in the morning, and my wife had called me, and it was about, I don't know, about 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning. And I said, hi, you're early here. I'm on the West Coast. And my wife said, turn on the television. And I said, okay, what channel? And she said, all of them. And this was 9/11. And 9/11 happened, and I didn't get to Seattle, so I tried to figure out how to get back to Purdue and get back to the campus in California. And we got to California and realized that there's no buildings, there's nothing, no buildings. We're trying to hire faculty. At the time, we only had a chancellor, a provost, and one dean, which was me, so we're basically 3 people on the faculty trying to figure out how we're going to build this brand new university. And it was slow going. We had environmental issues that we had to deal with. We had lobbying kinds of things going on, and it was incredible. But slowly, this campus started to grow, and by 2009, we had our first graduation, our very, very first graduation, and it was glorious. We had incredible support from people in the Central Valley of California to get this campus started. And there were a group of engineers and the students were saying, we got to get a commencement speaker to speak at this graduation. And they worked probably 4 months to try to get Michelle Obama to come be the speaker. And the White House said, well, this is not a very good idea. We don't know about this place. There might be some issues. And the engineering people, the engineering students were completely focused on getting her into the commencement program. And she did a wonderful job, and she, you know, the planes flew into Air Force Base next to the Air Force. It was a one-day thing. She gave a tremendous talk, and I'll never forget the fact that when she stepped off the plane and into the car and onto campus, there were all these Secret Service people and these big, tall, you know, black-suited persons. We had to get up on the backstage. We had to take off our fat hats. In fact, our fat hats, they checked to see if there were any guns inside our hats, and that was kind of dicey. But it was incredible how that program has become. It's now ranked very, very highly, and growth, and it's a wonderful, wonderful program. So the point of this is, once you have this foundation that you've created today, this is going to be with you for the rest of your lives, and you're going to have lots of opportunities to do things. You're going to have choices, and you're going to have options, and it's going to be an incredible lifestyle for you. I'm really happy to hear that you're here. This last 3 days, three years has been difficulty, but I want you to really think about where you're headed. So I'm going to leave you with three things. One is, I think you should really try to stay in touch with your cohorts. I know that students I have worked with when I was an undergraduate at University of Washington, I still know them. I still get communications with them. And that really helps the network that you'll create when you'll be able to identify opportunities for yourself. Second thing is, students sometimes feel reluctant to communicate directly with their faculty members. And yet the faculty members want to know about your successes as much as you do their successes. And so take a chance and keep in touch with your faculty. And I guarantee you'll enjoy that. And the third thing is, you're going to have lots of opportunities for professional activities, conferences and so forth. You'll be in lots of opportunities to have conferences and things that you write papers about and so forth. And take advantage of that, because you'll build this extraordinary network of engineers across the country and around the world who can really advance your programs. So it's wonderful to see that you guys have gotten where you are. You have opportunities, and I can't think of a better group of people to go out there, and next thing you'll know, you'll be in lots of opportunities. In any case, you guys, you got a wonderful time, and go Dogs.
So we have two options next. We could sit for 5 minutes and think about all those opportunities. Sound like a good idea? Or we can recognize the accomplishments of all of our graduates up on stage. But you have to promise that in the next week you're going to think about the opportunities for your future. Remember that you have to stay in touch with your community, your cohort, your team for the rest of your life. There's one more. Those are the two that are really important to me. Now, we will recognize the graduating classes of 2022, 2021, and 2020 for the Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering. Graduates, please rise. Cue music. Rise. I said rise. Please rise. Proceed on stage. This way. Oh, they're going now. Okay, there's only two of them. There must be more than two. 4. Okay, it's looking good.
Bryce Beeson.
Brennan McCoy.
Clayton Black.
Samuel Pacheco.
Gabby Greco.
Dali Keogh.
Augustin.
Lisa Courtney.
Ara Shrestha. Ara.
Ross Honeycutt.
Nicholas Nemi.
Bryson Bruno.
Mario Bain.
Mark Kevin Garcia.
Isla Selamic.
Mohammed Asakra.
Lillian Knapp.
Quinn Floyd.
Catherine Peterson.
Joshua Jonathan O'Mill.
Chase Habuchin.
James Jang.
Panutad Kawuchi-san.
Dave Edward Diaz. All right.
Shinny Chan.
Trent Wodrowski.
Jeffrey Carlson.
Mohammed Akbar.
Akbar Ramadan.
Dylan Monzin.
Derek Imperial.
Eric Carranza Herrera.
Delend Berend.
Zachary Perros.
Andrea Matson.
Amber Saladin.
Whitney Oyalato.
Jose Mariel.
Cameron Edwards.
Andrew Kuryopyatnik.
Matthew Nechiporek.
Nathaniel Martin.
Jarir Lopez.
Robert Hitch.
Jack Dingfeld.
Mohammed Turkman.
Stuart Limburn.
Henry Lindekugel.
Abby Cerrone.
Haley Herberg.
Alexander Shadler. Alexandra, sorry.
Sarah Mahoney.
Lily Burnett.
Rachel Levy.
Hannah Fingal.
Ryan Berry.
Jana Bangato.
Mansi Lakotea.
Mohammed Ali.
Amanda Linder.
Joshua Wren.
Gabriel Van.
Sophie Walker.
Caroline Wigner.
Sophia Wilkinson.
Marlon Lariano.
Ramel Castro.
Brandon Chandra.
Yekaterina Ianova.
Dylan Majewski.
Kyla Pritzel.
Luke Violet.
Ruben Madewell.
Darian T.
Jacob Bodner.
Will Pliska.
Yang Chen Lee.
Gabrielle Hager.
Claire Doherty.
Shu Ki Chan.
Hilda Pacheco Garcia.
Amelia Zavalaskis.
Emily Coe.
Haley Roche.
Kada Jackson.
Matthew Louie.
Callistus Tiwei Young, Jr.
Trong Pham.
Nathan Ha,
Brandon Lee.
Kirby Bowie,
Brian Choi.
Dristi Pandit,
Kevin Wong.
Sarah Khan,
Monica Gomez.
Yusur Aldai, Dahi,
Miriam Ali.
Camille Matunan,
Samuel Brick.
Tong Din,
Elena Stark.
Chi Young Chon,
Will Steinberg.
Peter Lau,
Andrew Chu.
Johan Jaya Sasmita,
Jamin Lau.
Ahmed Nazri,
Thomas Lee.
Another big round of applause and cheers for the graduate, the BSCE.
your mic's not live.
I'm a civil.
I can say another cheer for the graduates of civil engineering.
And we will now recognize the class of 2020, 2021, and 2022 graduates with degrees in Bachelor of Science in Environmental Engineering. Please join me on stage.
Owen Neverill,
Sui Xing Xu.
Lisan Suruwat Tari,
Mika Imoto.
Aaron Pletcher,
Hunter Jimenez.
Eric Pena,
Christina Pham.
Yusen Zen,
Chester Croson.
Presley Sweeney,
Francis Parsons.
Emma Cunningham,
Yaya Ali.
Next, we have our graduates with degrees in Master of Science in Civil Engineering.
Barira Mirza. Charlie Park. Rachel Nye. Yes. Vernon Chan. Kirk Kepler. Matthew O'Connell. Thank you. This is good. Elizabeth Hurt. Mike Wood. William Kraus. Allie Rowe. Addie Salinas. Kathleen Peschke. Jocelyn Johnson. Karina Thompson. Bridger Matches. Did I do it right? Craig Komotoni Dittman. Christian Vanderhoeven. Mara Rotluck. Sam Shear. Tommy Tony. Victoria Lee. Margarita Titova. Kan Jen Liu. Alexander Kauschman. Yost. Connor Yost. Kenneth Morrow. Andy Gega. Samuel Gunn Formansky. Waylon Chen. Daniel Acosta. Natalie Telemack. John Carter. Aaron Horn. Sai Saruth Kauluri. Hans Liu. Borna Kedri. Warka Al-Mustafa. Michael Berlinger. Iman Haji. Griffin Donnelly. Alex Lee.
I would
wouldn't want to give the wrong degree to anybody. I believe that I am inviting Anne Goodchild to the podium or to this microphone to introduce and congratulate the graduates of the MSCTL program.
Yeah, so just a couple of words. The Master of Supply Chain, Transportation, and Logistics program is a 2-year, mostly online, part-time degree that trains students to be leaders in the SCTL field. So these students all work full-time in addition to being students. They are ambitious, hardworking, and committed, and I'm really honored to celebrate with you today. So congrats to our SCTL graduates from the class of 2020, 21, and 2022.
Elizabeth Barbosa. Jacqueline Nguyen. Tonya Ha. Ji Chen Chu. Jessica Filtz. Hawa Sarim. Spencer Henderson. Jazdeep Sandhu. James Fernandez. Ryan Valu.
Next, I would like to invite Associate Professor Edward McCormick to introduce the graduates of the Master in Sustainable Transportation.
So I'd like to welcome the students who graduated from the Master in Sustainable Transportation program. This is an online program which trains students to develop innovative and sustainable solutions to society's biggest transportation problems. Being an online student program, we have students from all over the country. Most of these students have professional careers. They work for engineering firms, DOTs, cities, the ports. To earn an MST degree involves 3 years, 9 quarters, and at least 1 late night. An evening per week, live lectures, numerous deadlines, and lots of online discussions. And COVID has had some impacts, even though it's an online program. So on top of all these requirements for a demanding job, occasionally work travel and family issues and obligations like that, and some of the students have small kids. So I know juggling all these commitments and being in school has been a challenge, but you did it, so congratulations.
Curtis Walton. Barton Treacy. Martin Haskins. Penelope St. John. Patrick Castonguay. Elliot Tipton. Jessica Brown. Shauna Kitzman. Deborah Reardon. Kai Aurelius.
Is this one on? Finally, I would like to invite our graduates with Doctors of Philosophy degrees to come up on stage.
Meninder Paul Singh Thind. I can stand up there.
Sheher Yar Kalik Ahmed.
How many PhDs does it take to...
It's more memorable.
Parastu Jabari.
Kamal Ahmed.
Tom Lynn. Long Chen.
Lisandra Amanta Medal Bidikaka.
Milad Ashtiani.
Mei-Shin Zhu.
Rong Fan.
Yifan Zhuang.
Jingxing Wang.
Feilong Wang.
Chang Gua.
Yasmin Farhat.
Yifan Chung.
Justin Flug.
William Courier.
Congratulations. We bring the... invite all of our PhD graduates to stay on stage in recognition of their joining the faculty. Because you're all moderately tall and we're all sitting, I'm going to suggest that you join the faculty behind, and that way we can get a picture of all of you behind our seated faculty. How's that? So maybe you could curl around here. But welcome to the UW faculty as PhD graduates. Can we transfer back to this one? Good. Okay, I'm going to ask for all the graduates. One last round of applause for friends and family who helped get you here, because and then I will ask all the graduates to stand. One huge last round of applause for everyone. Way to go. Woo! Okay, do we want to do 1, 2, 3, throw the hats? Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Woo! And with that, thank you all for coming and joining the celebration of our graduates from this year and years past. And best of luck, best wishes, congratulations to all of the graduates. Good night.